All right, let's dive into case file number 4, the Abyssal War. Now for this one, we're going deep, a lot deeper than you might think. We're not going to be looking up to the stars for answers today. Instead, we're opening a file on a conflict that, well, it might have been raging right under our noses this whole time. You know, this quote from our source material, it's here for one reason and one reason only, to completely flip your perspective on its head. Think about it. For nearly 100 years, we've all been told to look up, to watch the skies. But what if that was the single greatest misdirection in all of human history? Okay, so let's get right to it. The main idea we're digging into today is that the UAP phenomenon, it's not really an aerial thing. The argument is, we've been looking at this completely wrong. The conflict, the real conflict, isn't coming from some distant star. It's been happening for thousands of years right here, in the dark, crushing depths of our own planet. So let me just break this down. The argument from our source is that this phenomenon, it's not primarily aerial. It is naval. We're not talking about extraterrestrials in the way we usually imagine them. We're talking about an ancient, indigenous civilization, one that's been here all along, operating from hidden bases deep in our oceans, with technology far beyond our own. Okay, so big claims. I know. You're probably thinking, where's the evidence? Well, let's go straight to the most famous UAP case of our time, the 2004 USS Nimitz encounter. We're going to do a little forensic audit here, because according to our source, this wasn't just some passive sighting. This was a full-on naval engagement.
Now, most of us know the highlights, right? Commander David Fravor and his wingman see this crazy 40-foot wingless Tic Tac that just seems to laugh at the laws of physics. It drops from 80,000 feet to sea level in under a second, outmaneuvers our best jets. But look at this timeline. The real story actually started weeks before Fravor even got there. And the most important detail, it has nothing to do with what happened in the air.
And here we go, this is the smoking gun. According to our source, this is the most critical and maybe the most suppressed detail of the whole thing. The super advanced radar on the USS Princeton, it didn't spot the Tic Tac in the sky first. No, it detected an object under the water, churning the ocean up from below. Fravor wasn't sent to investigate a UFO, he was sent to check out a disturbance in the water. This really lays it all out, doesn't it? The old story we were told was, hey, it's a UFO sighting, an unknown aerial vehicle from the sky. But the source's indictment? Totally different. This was a naval engagement. That wasn't just an aerial vehicle, it was a transmedium vehicle. It didn't come from the sky. It was an operational craft that came out of the ocean. Okay, so let's follow the logic here. If you're the US Navy and you've just confirmed there's a highly advanced, non-human force operating in your oceans, what's your next move? How do you even begin to respond? Well, our source points to something kind of surprising. A bunch of publicly available patents filed by a Navy aerospace engineer named Dr. Salvatore Pais. And get this, between 2016 and 2019, the US Navy was granted patents for a complete system. We're not just talking about one little piece of tech here. It's the whole shebang. You've got the power source, a plasma fusion device, the wiring, a room temperature superconductor, and the engine core itself, a device that can reduce a craft's mass and generate its own gravitational waves. I mean, this is literally the recipe for an engine that can engineer the fabric of reality. So what's the magic here? It all comes down to what's called the Pais Effect. Now, to put it simply, and believe me, the physics are not simple, the tech supposedly creates a kind of space-time bubble around the craft, a local polarized vacuum. Inside this bubble, the craft's mass and inertia are basically dialed way down. This means it can move through any medium, whether it's air or, super dense water, with almost zero resistance. And look, before you write this off as pure science fiction, you should know the US Patent Office thought the same thing. They initially rejected it, saying it was impossible. But in response, the Navy's own Chief Technology Officer for Naval Aviation, Dr. James Sheehy, filed a sworn declaration. He stated, under oath, and I'm quoting here, that the inventions are operable and have been reduced to practice. This wasn't a whiteboard theory. They were saying we've built it and it works. So, let's connect the dots. The Navy has patents for a radical new engine that basically ignores the laws of physics as we know them, an engine that would be perfect for underwater travel. Well, our source claims these patents aren't just for research. They're the literal blueprints for the Navy's first big response to the Tic Tac threat. This is the first weapon of the Abyssal War. You might have seen this in the news recently. In 2024, Northrop Grumman and DARPA showed off the Manta Ray drone. The public story is that it's this big, slow-moving underwater vehicle for long missions. But our source claims that's just a cover story. The real Manta is a top-secret, hypersonic transmedium craft built using the Pais Effect. It's the operational response to what happened with the Nimitz.
So here's how this classified Manta would supposedly operate. Step 1, it activates the Pais Effect, creating that space-time bubble. Step 2, that bubble completely eliminates friction and drag, meaning it can slice through dense water like it isn't even there. Step 3, it achieves hypersonic speeds, velocities that should be totally impossible underwater. And the final step, its whole reason for being, to dominate the abyss, to track and engage these non-human craft.
And that brings us to the last and maybe the most chilling piece of this entire puzzle. Okay, if there's a war being fought, and we're building these incredible new weapons for it, where exactly is the enemy? Where are their bases? Our source is very clear on this. They are not from outer space. They are from inner space. Yeah, the term UFO, according to this whole theory, that's the misdirection. The real focus should be on USOs, unidentified submerged objects. And for the Navy, this is nothing new. For decades, their sonar systems have been tracking so-called fast walkers, things moving under the water at hundreds, sometimes even thousands of knots, speeds that are just impossible. And it's not just the speed, it's the performance in general. I mean, check this out. This is a real data point from way back in 1963. The USS Edenton tracked a USO doing over 150 knots, that's almost 175 miles per hour, while it was descending to 27,000 feet. We're talking nearly 5 miles deep at a speed that would crush any submarine we have. And what's really interesting is that these sightings aren't just random, not at all. They seem to cluster in very specific places. We're talking about deep ocean trenches and areas with a lot of geothermal energy. Places like the Puerto Rico Trench, the North Sea, the Pacific Ring of Fire, and, hey, what do you know? The Catalina Basin, which is exactly where the Nimitz encounter happened. So the conclusion from our source is pretty stark. These hotspots, they aren't just transit points or busy intersections. They are bases. And if you think about it strategically, it's perfect. They're almost impossible for us to get to. They're completely hidden from any kind of satellite surveillance, and all those geothermal vents, that's a practically unlimited power source. Which leaves us with this one final, really provocative question. What if we've been looking in the wrong direction this whole time? The aliens aren't coming from Zeta Reticuli. Are they already here? Coming up from the bottom of our own oceans?